There is a version of you that exists 6 months from now. No motivation needed. No need to scroll for advice at 2 a.m. No promises that dissolve by Wednesday. That version of you was not born from a single decision. This is not a video about discipline. Discipline is loud. It announces itself, then leaves. This is a video about habits, the silent architecture underneath the life you think you're choosing. We have been taught to worship the big moment, the new year, the Monday reset, the this is the day everything changes moment. But look closely at anyone who has actually changed their body, their mind, their circumstances, and you will not find a single dramatic turning point. You will find repetition, unremarkable, almost boring repetition. The truth most people avoid is this: who you are is simply what you repeat, not what you intend, not what you post, not what you promise yourself in the shower, what you repeat. And repetition doesn't ask for your motivation. It doesn't care if you feel inspired today. It only asks one question: will you do the small thing again, even when it means nothing? Most people won't. That is precisely why most people stay the same. There is a version of the day that belongs entirely to you before the world wakes up and starts making demands. Some call it the unseen hour. It's rarely about waking at 5 a.m. specifically. It's about claiming some stretch of time, however small, before your attention becomes public property. Because here is what nobody tells you about a full day. By 9 a.m., your mind is already rented out to notifications, to other people's urgencies, to noise you didn't choose. The person who protects even 20 minutes of quiet before that begins is not doing something trivial. This is the first quiet habit. Claim a portion of the day before the day claims you. It doesn't need to be productive. It can be silence. It can be a walk. It can be simply sitting with your own thoughts without reaching for a screen to drown them out. What matters is that it is yours. Every day carries one task you would rather avoid: the phone call, the workout, the difficult conversation, the blank page. Most people build their entire day around avoiding that one thing, and in doing so, they hand their peace of mind over to something they haven't even done yet. The quiet habit here is simple and brutal in its simplicity. Do the uncomfortable thing first, not because suffering is noble, but because avoidance compounds. A task delayed doesn't disappear. It grows teeth. It waits for you in the back of your mind, draining energy from everything else you attempt that day. There's an old idea, sometimes attributed to Navy training, sometimes to old Stoic teachers, that if you make your bed first thing in the morning, you've already won a small victory before the day tests you. Whether or not the discipline is that particular, the principle holds. The people who move through life with a certain quiet steadiness are rarely the ones with no difficulties. They are the ones who stop negotiating with themselves about when to face them. We are told that growth means addition. Add a new skill, add a new routine, add another app to optimize your life. But watch anyone who has genuinely transformed, and you'll notice something counterintuitive. Much of their progress came from subtraction. They removed the show they binged instead of sleeping. They removed the friend group that only spoke in complaints. They removed the constant low-grade noise of comparison that came from checking other people's highlight reels. Subtraction is a quieter discipline than addition, because it offers no reward, no dopamine hit, no visible trophy. Nobody congratulates you for the hour you didn't spend scrolling, but that hour still existed, and it went somewhere. The quiet habit is this: before you add something new to your life, ask what you're willing to remove to make room for it. A life that only adds becomes cluttered. A life that occasionally subtracts becomes clear. Perhaps the quietest habit of all is this: doing something well when no one will ever know. Folding the laundry properly, even though it will be worn and washed again in 3 days. Finishing the work fully, even when a rushed version would go unnoticed. Keeping a promise made only to yourself. Character, in its truest form, is not what you perform for others. It is what you maintain when the audience disappears. Most people have two standards: one for when they're watched and one for when they're alone. The quiet ones collapse that gap until there is only one standard, regardless of who's in the room. This is not about perfectionism. It's about integrity in the oldest sense of the word, being whole, being the same person in public and in private. That wholeness, repeated daily, is what eventually earns you the quiet self-trust that no external validation can replace. None of these habits will trend. None of them make for an exciting montage. There is no dramatic music behind waking up 20 minutes earlier, or doing the hard task first, or removing one more thing you didn't need. But that is precisely why they work. Real change was never going to announce itself. It was always going to arrive quietly, disguised as an ordinary Tuesday, built from decisions no one else will ever see. So the question was never, what should I do to transform my life? The question is smaller and harder. What is the one quiet thing you can repeat tomorrow that nobody will clap, for that moves you 1 inch closer to the version of yourself you keep imagining? Start there. That is enough.